Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, and this is the Nerdrotic Nooner. Welcome, friends. Hello, neighbors. Welcome, neighbors. Won't you be my nooner? I was going to sing that whole song, but then I decided against it because I am not much of a singer. I am no doomcock when it comes to singing. So, hello, Brent Newman, Halam899, Herb Myers, Mark Lazurth, Best Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton. What is up? Hello, my lovelies. He says, it's just plain Joe reviews. What's up, Joe? How's it going? Joe, our good friend Joe, who is just, oh my God, an unlimited resource when it comes to Doctor Who, and a good friend, has started his own channel. So go check it out. Odie Rex, how's it going? Kay Werber, thank you for congrats on 33,000. Yeah, it's I'm having the time of my life and it keeps going. So hang on. It's not good to have my coat in the background. I usually catch that before I start. So yeah, today lots of things to talk about, and I will get to you in the chat. You guys largely run this show. This is for you. This is my favorite part of the channel where I get to talk to everybody. I've been doing a lot of live streaming. I did a Patreon nooner yesterday. And then, of course, I was on the High Council last night, which was brilliant with Anna, that Star Wars girl, my good friend Doomcock, and Jeff Hicks from the World Class Bullshitters. So thank you again, Jeff, for the invite. And thanks, Jeremy and EVS, for letting me keep one of your seats warm. I don't know whose seat I was sitting in. Take your pick, but thanks guys for allowing me on. I do appreciate it. It is truly an honor. So please go check that out. It's on the World Class Bullshitters channel. I will link it in the description once this is a video. The Big Red Bear, how's it going? Alexander Vidakovic. Man, I'm going to get that right someday. I'm sorry. Alexander. Broly, what is up? Okay. So as people roll in, what are we going to discuss today? Well, the fallout from that Deadline fluff piece, basically acting as a PR wing for CBS. Very disappointing. Deadline's usually pretty rock solid. But, you know, them not reporting on the tardigrades makes a lot more sense now, to be honest with you. So, yeah, and, you know, the similarities between Star Trek and Doctor Who, of course, which we've been talking about a lot. Also, something came across my YouTube feed this morning that slightly triggered me a little bit, but it also was very enlightening for fans of Game of Thrones in the book Winds of Winter on why it's delayed. And I am pretty sure I know exactly why it's delayed, and it's not for any reason that has been reported, but I assume some of you suspect. So we will get to that. Also, I want to talk a little bit about The Expanse, my favorite show. I love this show. A mild concern I have for one thing, and nothing when it comes to writing or acting or anything in the show. It is a perfectly written show. It is, we've said many times, myself and other YouTubers, on it's really Star Trek Discovery wants to be The Expanse. You know, it's that show that is diverse, but doesn't need to brag about it, and does get political, but in a very even, believable way, where it doesn't feel like agenda. And it's Game of Thrones in space. It's just a damn good show. I have one mild concern though, which might be nothing. It could be nothing, but it's something I want to talk about, and it's related to the whole binge model. I'm not a fan of it. I never have been a fan of it. I understand why people do it, and I understand why people are fans of it, and it's not a judgment on you. There's partially some selfish reasons because I can't cover each show weekly, but that's what's behind it. I can't cover each show weekly, and I think that hurts your product a little bit. So we'll get into that a little later. Thank you for the $5 super chat right off the bat from Brent Newman. Gary, I refuse to give you congrats reaching 33,000 super chat. Oh, bugger. Congrats. Thanks. Bugger that. Brent, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we're creeping up towards 34 now, and things are kicking ass, man. Things are kicking ass. And we have Just Plain Joe, $2. I have a video coming out defending you against Mrs. TARDIS. I'm sorry, Mr. TARDIS. My bad. I still think he should change the name. for respect for Jody, I would. Why is it delayed? Do you want to know right off the bat? Do we want to start off with that? Let's wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit on that one. But I will tell you why it's delayed. Because I'll give you a tease. George has had to pretty much rewrite it. That's and he's known to do that. That's why he takes so long. He has a lot of things to do, a lot of things on his plate, but he had to, I'm guessing, had to almost go back to the beginning and flesh everything out. And that, oh God, 3 years ago, he talked about that big twist. That big twist was a fundamental change in the book, I believe. As far as like who the main hero is, and I think it's related to Jon Snow, and we'll get into that. So 72% my assets, says best Doctor Who Patrick Troughton. Absolutely. That is Hollywood math. And it's funny, I saw Bruce Campbell a couple of days ago, the King, hail to the King, at the Castro Theater. He did a Q&A for Evil Dead 2, that was just brilliant, seeing that in a theater with a crowd, and it was kind of a Rocky Horror experience. And people were yelling at the screen, finishing lines. It was a lot of fun. So he talked about movie math and how screwed up it is. Evil Dead 2 is one of the only movies he's worked on, I believe he said, that actually showed a profit. I'm sure some of you know this, but not a lot of movies, quote unquote, show profits. And I believe it's either Return of the Jedi or Star Wars. I think it's Return of the Jedi has not technically shown a profit yet. And this is something David Prowse has bitched about a lot, who played Darth Vader, because they were supposed to get paid off that. And he's been the only one that's been really vocal against it. And that's why he's ostracized from the whole Star Wars thing. At least last time I heard, that was a couple of years ago. So, and we'll get into that. And it's related to this percentages. And the reason that CBS article came out yesterday was in a direct response to what I believe is videos from myself and others, Reddit posts, tweets, basically saying, show the numbers, man. If things are successful, and my insiders and others insiders are wrong, which, hey, that certainly could happen. It's just insiders. I'm going on, and I'm not questioning my insiders, but they could be getting bad information. If we really want to go in the weeds, somebody might have planted them some bad information to kind of weed them out, possibly. I don't know how that's possible. But one of my sources is not even calling me back right now, so I don't know. I just don't know. But as far as a 72% increase from the premiere, well, they didn't premiere. Star Trek Discovery did not premiere on the same day as it did for season 1. It premiered on a Sunday. So I think they were relating that number to the weekend, which Star Trek Discovery did not premiere. And the AFC Championship, which was, I didn't see it, but I heard it was a great game. And it had record numbers of live viewing. So I would suspect it would have record streaming numbers, or people who were out and about and couldn't, decided to take advantage of CBS All Access's free week that they were offering that week. They don't talk about how many people dip out after that, and they don't give actual numbers. With the AFC Championship, they gave percentages as related to how long people watched and so on. And it's a lot like the YouTube analytics, which, by the way, had a little trouble this morning, so that delayed my video. I didn't want to put it out today because there was something going on. I saw EVS's stream this morning where he had no views, but there was a bunch of us watching, so that was weird. That happens from time to time. YouTube's not perfect. So, and I am not a super critic of YouTube. I'm very grateful that they allow me to have this platform, and I try to adhere to their rules as much as possible. So that it's just spin. That's all it is. And it's, the typical people came out and go, ha ha, look at this. And it's like, using that same logic, then I released a video on the same day. PewDiePie released a video. So I showed record numbers because I am on the same platform as PewDiePie. So therefore I share in that wealth. Not exactly. But CBS does, because they own the platform. So you can twist it. Rebecca Gold brought up, and rightly so, in my live stream yesterday, questioning like, why would they do this? Why would they lie? They're not lying. I'll say it right here: is CBS All Access and CBS and Deadline. They're not lying. They just associated that number in an area that was very vague. They didn't tell us like what exact day. It could have been a 72% increase between the hours of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. They're telling the truth. Yeah, it's not exactly lying, but it's not really being upfront. Well, let's just say, and no specific numbers given means that's pretty much, those are useless percentages. They mean nothing. It's just to make themselves look good. So Rebecca Gold again asks, like, why would they do this? Well, to make themselves look good. That's their job. And I don't blame CBS for trying to spin it as much as possible. Let me get comfortable here. And that's their job. So, and it's our job to point this crap out when it's complete BS. I mean, it's in the name, CBS. Okay. I know it's a little on the nose, but it works. It works. Let's get to the chat a little bit. I got to open up another window here. So give me just a mo. I hope everybody's having I'm having a great day. Got a little workout in, got some coffee, a lot of coffee. I'm jacked up. And I got props to the Pete's Coffee at Stonestown. It's on 20th Street here in San Francisco. The crew in there is top notch. They're good kids. They remember my name when I come in. They know what I want now, because I get the same damn coffee every day. I just get coffee. And they're really nice, and that's how you do it. They're always smiling. They look like they're having a good time. Hell, maybe I'll do a live stream from there one day. Yeah, so that is great. And Just Plain Joe, I'm really glad you started a channel, and I recommend it for everybody. Like, the more the merrier, really. Having a YouTube channel is fun. Dr. Meatball, what are the odds we get a flashback scene in STD of Teen Spock and Teen Burnham getting into the bomb chicka wow wow 8-1? I agree with those odds. They certainly alluded to that. Now, do I realistically think that's what it's going to be? God, I hope not. I really hope not. I think it would be one-sided. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility that Spock would have a crush on her, and she just didn't see it or understood it too late, and basically said, hey, it's not right, for even though we're not related, it ain't right. And yeah, if they do that, I can't see. I think everybody would turn on them at that point. I can't even see the biggest Star Trek Discovery fan, unless this is the only show you've watched. I don't know. 33,936. Can we hit 34K during the nooner? Maybe. I don't know. Hi, Pen Farm Girl. Hi, Mary Ashbead. Mako. Spin doctors never lie. They spin the numbers. Absolutely correct, Mako. The key to this is you're not lying. But in a sense, yeah, you're not being truthful. It's it's lawyers. That's what they do. We have another super chat from Joseph Petrick. Name one thing you genuinely liked in Discovery Season 2, Episode 1 for £2. Oh, boy. Joseph, oh, boy. Genuinely liked. I like Anson Mount. I think if he was given good writing, I think he could do an okay job as Pike. I do. But the feeling I'm getting, though, is he's going to be insecure Captain Pike. He's going to be kind of a, not PTSD because he wasn't in the war, but he's going to have this regret that he wasn't there and he was on his 5-year mission. And that's going to subvert our expectations about Pike. So, but I can say that I don't hate Anson Mount. I like him as an actor. Is that close enough? And they turn the lights up a little bit. I don't know. Cheryl Leera for $1.99. STD airing half hour before Orville. It is. And that's something we're going to have to come up with. But I love it because I can recap Star Trek Discovery and then cleanse my palate with the Orville at the end. So we will be covering both live, and I'll be doing individual videos on both this time. Last time it got too late, so I couldn't do an Orville video. And Susan joins me on the Orville, and somebody made a thumbnail that I'm going to use on Twitter that was funny as hell of me and Susan sitting on the bridge of the Orville. That was really cool. Douglas did it, and I'll show that off later. Eric, thank you, Cheryl and Joseph. I do appreciate it. Eric Hammer, $2. I'll continue to boycott STD and DW. Yes, that is how we enact change, by not buying it, by simply not buying it. Unfortunately, because I just don't, it's part of my recovery. I don't steal. That's why I pay for CBS All Access. Everything's on the up and up. But so you don't have to, and I do share the hell out of it. So other people don't have to pay for it. So that's kind of getting him in a way. Yeah. Destiny Captain, I'm watching you on a 50-inch TV. Oh God, I'm sorry. Here, let me back up a little bit. Jesus, I hope it's 1080p. But knowing you, Destiny Captain is probably one of those 8K ones that nobody's broadcasting in 8K yet. Gene Roddenberry decanonized the animated series long ago. Yes, but I think a lot of people just canonize it anyway, Mako. That's where it gets kind of blurry. But if you use Doomcock's rules of canon, that means it's not canon. Yay to the Orville. Yes, Mary, we love the Orville. We do. Jeffrey Grimm, good news, they turned up the lights. Bad news, they turned up the lights. Yeah, that's definitely a good news, bad news situation. Yes. So yeah, there's not much I like about it. No. And how I could like Star Trek Discovery if they completely erased Michael Burnham's relationship to Spock in every way, shape, or form. I'd be willing to accept a lot if they just did that. We can work with that. I listen, I'm a reasonable person. I could work with those horrible looking Klingons and terrorist Vulcans, and I don't know about the terrorist Vulcan thing, but the Orville should cast Bruce Campbell as Captain Pike type previous Star Trek of the Orville. Oh, Douglas Nelson. By the way, Douglas Nelson is the one who did that thumbnail. Thank you, Douglas. You're awesome. That was brilliant, dude. That would be brilliant. You hear that, Seth? Cast Bruce Campbell in the Orville. Oh my God. You want to just, I mean, it's legit anyways, but you would like double legitimize the Orville by casting Bruce Campbell. You got Patrick Warburton and Bruce Campbell in the same scene together. I would cry tears of joy. I would. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey Orville season 1 is next on my view list. Just finished Expanse season 2. Can't wait for season 3 to drop on DVD in November. Yes, it's also going to drop on Amazon Prime on February 8th, folks. If you haven't heard, the Expanse will be on Amazon Prime February 8th. But it's available right now on DVD and Blu-ray if you want to get it, and it is completely worth the buy. They went to JJ. You should never go full JJ. Peter Quinn, you are correct. You are absolutely correct on that one. You'll never get an argument out of me on that one. Oh boy, I hate it when it does that. Elliot Nelson, thanks for showing me the other great YouTube channels. I really enjoy the High Council and the Exozone. Keep up the good work. Are there any other collaborations I missed out on? Not yet. I am going to be doing something with Lore Reloaded in a few days, and I am working on something for the Expanse, although I haven't talked to anybody about it yet, but except for you guys. But I am trying to get something to raise awareness for the show, because I want to raise all the awareness I can for the show. I think it really does. Sorry, there we go. My windows went crazy on me for a second there, so give me just a moment. This is gonna be a pain in the butt. but I gotta close. Okay, yeah, that I can work with that. I can work with that. There we go. So thank you for the super chat. Yeah, that's the only one so far. But yeah, again, thanks to Jeff for letting me on the High Council. It was brilliant last night. We had long, so my voice is, and I still got to record a video. So everything got delayed today because of the High Council and because of the YouTube thing. So my Punisher reviews delayed another day. The next RT videos delayed another day, probably tomorrow. And that is when I changed the name of the channel from Nerdrotic channel to Nerdrotic. Blue shirts are the new red shirts, says Simon Wild. Yeah. I think it's going to be dumb white guys in blue shirts. But not all red shirt. I mean, Scotty had a red shirt. Okay. He didn't die. Not till he outlived most of them. So yeah, that trope, as they say, why would you get rid of that? I think they just try to piss off fans at this point. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious that there's a certain sect that they're poking, and they just think it's the bad ones, and it happens to be half your audience, and that's what the denial is, folks. That's what I put in the title. The denial from the franchise owners to the creators of Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Ghostbusters, previously until recently, hopefully, is this denial that pissing off large portions of your fan base. I don't know what the percentages are, but you really don't want any of your fans pissed off ever, period. And maybe they think because people are discussing it on social media, so maybe they're just looking at the final numbers of, wow, a lot of people are sharing this stuff, and they're not actually looking what they're sharing. I don't know. I'm trying to give them an explanation because they have made very little effort to try to listen. Even in an article I read that they felt like they brought in Pike to appease Trekkies. Well, let's wait and see the whole Pike thing play out before we call that fan service. Because I'm already seeing what direction they're going with that, and I don't think it's going to make people happy. I really don't. They should have had T'Pol adopt her instead, and would have made her more sense in the long run. Yes, or you know what? Just follow her as a character. She went through Starfleet like a normal person did, and she was really good. And she was, she's the best test pilot, the best scientist, the bestest ever. I mean, you didn't need to do that, but the reason they did it was to insert themselves into the canon, to guarantee their place in Star Trek history. And it's really the weakest, laziest way to do it. That's why you really, when you have these big franchises, vet the people you're going to have come in and take them over. I mean, I talked about Kurtzman's MO on my last live stream. His modus operandi is coming in to fix franchises, and he's a fixer. He'll come in, he'll get it profitable, which is all they really care about, but he leaves a path of destruction in his wake when he leaves, and he leaves early, and it's very JJ. He learned that at the school of JJ. The biggest problem in Discovery is Michael Burnham, is my conclusion. Too unlikable. They need to kill her off or change her or recast or something. Yeah. Because yeah, I would agree with you on that. If Michael Burnham, like, say, dies, could you work with Kurtzman? My biggest problem is Kurtzman too. So if you got rid of both of those and kept that, I think they could un-F it. As Miles says, the only way to un-F STD is put it in another universe. And yeah, I agree with that too. If you, that would take a lot of the bite out of everybody's argument if you just put it in its own universe at this point and just say, you know what, we're the new Star Trek. We're creating our own universe. We're starting from scratch, and the prime canon still exists, and go from there. Thing is, we're in transition here with CBS and Viacom, and Paramount's in big trouble. So it looks like they it might be sooner than 2 years that they go back together as a company, and that could change everything. My source this morning tweeted me some pictures of Brian Fuller when he was involved in this, and to think what could have been. I think this would have been a lot better had Brian Fuller been involved, because apparently he left over the canon issue. So we will see on that one. I got to blink back and forth here. Okay, I got 2 more super chats I got to read here. The Big Red Bear, Canadian $5. There will always be some mad fans. I agree with you there. You can't make everybody happy, but you definitely don't want the majority of people to be livid with your product. Big Red Bear, absolutely right. Armored Gaming, thank you for the 5 Canadian dollars, my friend. Armored Gaming, £2. Boycott Gillette. I am. Hey, I boycott every razor. So yeah, it's really easy for me to boycott Gillette. No, I use a Dollar Shave Club for yeah, there goes my manscaping. Just kidding. Maybe not. Oh, okay. God, this is going to be a pain in the ass if I have to do this. Switch my windows all the time. But that's what happens when you live stream. That would be the best way to just put it in an alternate verse. Yeah, just put it in its own little playground and let it exist over there and then die over there. And then your other shows could, I don't know. I don't know. I want it to be better. I do. I just don't think with Kurtzman involved, it could happen. Just go back and look at his previous work. Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Dark Universe, Star Trek Into Darkness. He's, oh man, for lack of a better term, he's basic. That's all he is. You know, I don't see him as this uber creative person. He's just somebody who plays the game really, really well. And that's the class of JJ. On the surface, if you're from a distance, looks shiny and fun, but it's not. Tim F is working and lurking. What's up, Beltalauda? What is up? What is up? Okay. Yeah, let me I'll do the Expanse thing because it's going to be quick. So the Expanse thing is this. Like I said, it's the binge model. It looks like Amazon Prime is going to drop the entire season at once. I haven't heard otherwise. That's what they do with most of their series. With The Tick, they dropped it in 2 parts, but that was a production thing. Maybe they've done weekly, but I don't remember. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not that they're listening to me, but I would highly recommend Jeff Bezos and Amazon to release it weekly. For one, it's not like The Punisher, which is pretty much 2 hours of content spread out for 13. Each episode is a little movie of The Expanse, and there's so much crammed in there that if you binge it, it's almost too much. Releasing it weekly, you have a bunch of people like myself talking about it in a very positive manner. I don't think there's any. I'm sure it exists, but I haven't seen it. People who hate The Expanse. It's mostly a big love fest, and you would have tons of YouTubers talking about it every single week, plus people tweeting about it every single week, plus multiple Reddit threads, plus those amazing Expanse fans who help save your show. One of the most mobilized, friendly fan bases I've ever seen. So, and that would be, say 13 weeks of free promotion that you can't buy anywhere. And you're giving that up for the binge model. Don't do it. Please don't do it, because Jeff Bezos, I'm sure, will let it run a couple seasons, but I think it would. Listen, I think more people watch The Expanse on Amazon Prime, whoever did on Sci-Fi. And I think it's a brilliant goddamn show that everybody should be watching. It's everything Star Trek Discovery wants to be and can't be. Why? Because it's got brilliant people and ex-Star Trek people and ex-Farscape people involved. Plus the writers of the book are involved. The books are great too. And yeah, I just think 13 weeks of free promotion is something you should not walk away from for a trend. The binge thing, it's too expensive, and it's great now during the streaming wars when everybody's swimming in money. But when budgets start getting cut back and you start dropping 110, 120 million dollars, not saying The Expanse is getting that, on something that people will forget about in a week, Believe me, when the Punisher, by the time my review comes out tomorrow, people will probably already forgotten about it. Iron Fist season 2 was forgotten about within 72 hours. And that's the risk you run. The Expanse is amazing. It'll probably last longer than that, but just don't give up on that. Please. I'm asking nicely. And I think there were some fans out there who would agree with me. And you can always binge it later when it's done. It's not like you don't have to binge it. You can wait till it's done. And that won't hurt it because they're not going to rely on overnights at Amazon Prime. It would actually help it if you binged it afterwards. So please consider that. That's all I'm going to say. That's the only concern I have about the show. I have no concern about the writing and the acting and everything else. And if you take a look at it, you'll be hooked. Unless you just don't like sci-fi, which is fine. That's what people get into. So that's my Expanse thing. Belta Laudas, love you guys. Love you guys. Good news. David Tennant is starting a podcast. Bad news. His first guest will be Jodie Whittaker. Oh, well. Wah, wah, wah. I'm sure I'll take a look at that. How does he have time to do a podcast? Yeah, I'm sure that will be. Yeah, I love David Tennant. So that would be crazy if there was a Spock Michael baby boy who was given up for adoption later to become Tuvok and Tuvok's dad. I wouldn't put it past Kurtzman to do something like that. I really wouldn't. STD wants so bad to be BSG, and they forget BSG was made by a Star Trek writer. That's true. Ronald D. Moore. I love Ronald D. Moore. I really do. I know Chody. Oh my God. What's up, DJD show? How's it going? Oh man. Oh, really? 40 people to get to 34K. Yes, thanks. You guys are great. You're brilliant. I'm going to play something for you here that might not make you happy. Okay. But it needs to be heard because this is what we're dealing with. This exemplifies what we're dealing with. George R. R. Martin. Okay, so the sci-fi. Okay, so there's been, Gamergate and SJW Marvel and what's going on in entertainment. And then this happened in science fiction too, in the books. And it was called The Sad Puppies. Look into it. I'm not going to explain it all. George R. R. Martin was heavily involved in that. And this is why you want to remain politically neutral at all times, especially if you're a creator, because you get caught up with, I hope I'm playing this on my phone. All right. So bear with me on this one. So this is a George R. R. Martin at a Q&A. George R. R. Martin on racism and sexism accusations against Game of Thrones, which there have been many. After you hear this, I will tell you why this is a blight on art as a whole. Art should be allowed to be art. Art needs to be free to do anything, to draw anything, to write anything. And if you restrict it, then it ceases being art. Now, if you are the artist and you want to, you have boundaries and stuff, that's fine. But if somebody else from the outside is restricting your art, well, and listen, that it's varying degrees, but if you have checklists that you can, these are places you can no longer go. We're getting in the 1984 territory there, really quick. So, hopefully I don't get busted for this. And, but this is for review purposes only. And I'm going to try to turn this up so you can hear it.
So my next question, again, to George, is kind of continues on the issue of the political implications. So for all the enormous interest and lauding of your work, certainly deservedly so, there have also been some critiques, I'm sure you know, of the series, by which I mean both the book series and the TV series, political and social implications. Now, in many ways, we could say that the series really kind of undermined traditional notions of power, that they really, in some ways, very much play with, as we've talked about phallic constructions of power, kind of subverting it. But at the same time, there has been some critique of the works in terms of issues of gender and sexuality and race. So, for example, with the TV series, it even led to the coinage of a new term, sex position, right, which people talk about it, kind of laugh about the way that sometimes there'll be these scenes with sexual activity or nudity to kind of prevent the information of narrative information from seeming boring, that you have the sex going on. So some people say, okay, so women and sexual minorities are there for just kind of titillation purposes and not much else. And there have also been some critique of some of the racial tropes, for instance, using the trope of the kind of white savior of dark people, like in the case of Daenerys Targaryen. So I'm curious, do you think that these critiques are justified? How do you respond to those critiques?
He's totally triggered right now.
That question covers a lot of territory.
So I'll brief you on his answer. So just that question, was that a question? I don't know what the hell that was. So I listen, it's okay to break down art and discuss things in it. I'm not saying that's not okay. Just the fact that gets asked of your special guest, and I'll link the video in the description. My God, he's just sitting there just like about to explode. So his answer was basically, for one, separate the show and the book, and it's a book. It's a book, and her assumptions going into that question, she obviously didn't read the book. So the slavery that is used in Game of Thrones is based on Roman slavery, not American slavery or any other. So Roman slavery, they enslaved everybody. They didn't really, they enslaved everybody. So that's what it was based on. So, and then he talked about in the show, the reason there was a lot of brown people in the show is because they filmed in Morocco. And that's where the extras were. So they weren't going to fly a bunch of extras out of it when they could pay the extras $30 a day. So these are little nuances that academics who ask these questions, who don't read the books, actually, I would recommend a question like that needs to be asked by somebody who's read all 5 books multiple times. And there's a lot of bad stuff in Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire and Winds of Winter. And there's a lot of horrible depictions of horrible things because it's a story. It's dark fantasy. Dude, that story subverts the hell out of expectations. She even mentions it, but it does it in a great way. And it also feels real. That's why people like the story, because George isn't limited. This is his world, that he is free to make what he wants and does what he wants. So why is Winds of Winter delayed? Because of that. Political correctness. And George, being involved in the whole sad puppies thing, probably painted himself in a corner. This is just my speculation, by the way. It was probably normally delayed based on his basic writing pattern. He takes a long time to write, and let's face it, the last 2 books were actually one book that he split apart, and it's been 20 years since Storm of Swords, right? 20 years, maybe more. I think he had to go back to scratch and rewrite the book to fit these current times, because these current times are very restrictive on art. And I don't think he feels free to write the way he did. And I think this same thing happened to Stephen Moffat right around 2012. The political climate changed, and all of a sudden you weren't able to write about stuff you could write about before without major criticism about fictional work, about pretend stuff. Which, I mean, a lot of times, I'm saying this as a YouTuber, so guilty party. too much time on your hands? I mean, who needs to think about this stuff that much? Normal people don't, but I'm not saying I'm normal people. Yeah, that's digging way too far in the weeds on that one. And believe me, I'm going to break that down and probably do a whole separate video on that, because that made my freaking head explode. And that's part of the problem. We can't just simply enjoy crap anymore, because it's got to be dissected. And this is, I mean, he didn't even make Game of Thrones is political in the sense of that world, but it's not agendized. I mean, I guess somebody could find it. I don't. I just find enjoyment. It's a completely different world that I enjoy going to, even though like horrible things happen to men and women. It's not just women. Actually, a lot. I'd say more horrible things happen to men. But it's evenly balanced. You know, it's got good women and bad women. Actually, there's nobody really good and nobody really, well, there's really bad people, but there's a lot of shades of gray in Game of Thrones. I mean, even Jon Snow, our star, you know, had to do a couple of effed up things. My God, he had to kill one of his own, even though the guy asked for it, Corn Halfhand. But yeah. So I would that popped up on my feed before I started the live stream. I'm like, oh, and basically his response was, show books are different. It is a fantasy world, and I don't look at it that way. Daenerys isn't a white savior, because if you read the books, she freed the slaves for a little while, and then a unbelievable war happened, and the Battle of Marine, which we haven't even got through. So yeah. Jesus Christ, people. Get a life. There you go. Will Gentry, Nerdrotic. Oh, for FFS. If you have to explain your question before you ask it, then it's a bad question and shouldn't have been asked. And you gotta see the I might use it as the thumbnail. The expression on his face is brilliant. Because that's a prime example of what's going on here. And this is why I think we can come together, both sides, on this issue, on just this issue, on entertainment. It's like, this is getting crazy. Can we stop this? This is I feel like we're getting into crazy town now, and it's turning into like a new religion or something. And it's the new Puritanism. And it's like, loosen up, people. You're ruining comedy. You're ruining entertainment. And listen, if you don't distract the people with entertainment anymore, they might start focusing on stuff a little more. And I think that's kind of what's happening. And you know what? That might actually be bad for you in the long run. So I don't know, man. What and ladies, sorry. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to get to the chat. I saw a lot of @Nerdrotics pop up at that point, so we will get to there. Let me get to the super chats real quick, and then I'll get to you in the chat. Samuel Schwager. What's a CF? What's a CHF? CHF. $5 from CHF. I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. I'll have to look that up afterwards. If you could choose the cast for a Star Trek series, who would you choose? Actor, actress? Has to be among the living. Is this a brand new cast? Samuel Schwager. That is a deep question. Tell you what, Samuel, because that's something I'm gonna have to think about. I'm gonna answer that in the comments. I will pin the comment. I will mention you when this video is over. I will, when it's done, once processing, I will give that some thought, and I will cast 7 people in a Star Trek show. Because I definitely, if it's anybody I want, they among living actors and actresses, and I'll give you a premise too. So thank you so much. Brent Newman, £2, preemptive congrats on 34K. Hope it works. Thanks, man. Me too. Cheers, Brent. You're awesome. Nicholas Glenn. What is up, Nicholas Glenn? $1.99. Love seeing you on the High Council last night. Thank you so much. It was great being there. Believe me, I was having lots of fun, and I'm glad. You know, Jeff said he had a good time. It was great talking to Anna. Anna could bring it. You know, don't believe. You know, she looks like a nice young lady. She could bring it. She's good. I have not checked my DMs, Alex. I will check. Okay, I got your message there. but I can't check it right now because my Windows situation. Barney Rubble. What? Hey, Barney Rubble's in the chat, everybody. Dexter was on a pay channel. Barney Rubble like Dexter? That's crazy. I got Showtime free on DirecTV for a while and really enjoyed everything except the sisters' vocabulary. Yeah, Dexter was good. Honestly, I didn't see the last season though. I still got to watch that. Mako. This lady has completely mixed the pills, right? That's how you, I mean, like, he will never go back to that school again. I mean, you bring a guest over and you hammer him or her with a question like that. Like, I admire you for not softballing it, but yeah, good luck getting George R. Martin back. And I don't know, did you hear in that question when he said, well, there was a lot to go over there, and she's all, well, I am a professor. A professor who has to remind everybody they're a professor. I don't know. Not a good look. Comedians can't be comedians anymore either. Nerdrotic channel. Look at Billy Connolly. He was a fine line man. He did satire. Yeah. Imagine if Bill Hicks was alive today. She likes the sound of her voice. Armor Gaming. Yes, she does. By the way, Steph, my flash drives are fine. Oh, what's up, Captain Robert April? It's just plain Joe reviews. She sounds like a third wave. She feminist. Yes, she was definitely. Yes, me. 0020. Sexual minorities. There are more or less 50%. Oh, that's not a minority. Yes. That's some more of that math we were talking about. Really, in Doctor Who, no one really wants Chibnall and Whitaker are part of the action. Fire them. Yes, Dave. Listen, we got to get through one more season, and I think there's going to be changes or it ends. That was Big Red Bear says that was an attack. It was straight up. God bless the lady's husband's soul. He's a brave man. Or he's just one of those husbands who's, or, you know, any partner can do this. It can be a husband or a wife, has just perfected the ability of tuning stuff out, which every partner has. There's parts where you can just mute your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, at any time. It's necessary. Believe me, Mrs. Nerdrotic does it all the time. Dr. Meatball. Wait, so what was her question? What did you think about the 25 things I just listed off? Please answer it succinctly in one sentence. Go. Angel Feliciano, he does like his food. I saw him briefly at a restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My wife, I had to go park the car, and I came back, and my wife had been trying to call me. She said, "You just missed George R. Martin." I saw him out the corner of my eye. We went to the same restaurant, which was very good, by the way. Listen, I love George R. Martin. He helped create Meow Wolf, which is one of the greatest things ever. And I love his books. And sorry, I have to keep my phone on because I have a kid in school. Yeah, and he's done a lot of great things, but he's a very sidetracked person. Can you blame him? Man, there's times I can and times I can't. I think he does owe something to the fans to get this done, but he's also earned the right to take his time. If the book comes out this year and it's good, all will be forgiven. Of course it's Roman. It's not American, but that's why she didn't read the book, Natasha. I mean, we all know that. We've read the books. It's all based on, well, I mean, Game of Thrones is based on a lot of things, but it's based on history. Okay. It's based on the War of the Roses and the Roman Empire and, God. John Lane, $5. Can you go over what makes good writing? Robert Holmes, Classic Who, Patrick McGowan at The Prisoner. Hopefully this will be a teachable lesson. Well, yes, I can do it with some modern shows. For one, The Prisoner is one of the best written shows. The best written show in history is The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is it's a show done in the early 60s that you can watch today and is relevant. That's the great example of the best writing of the show, because while there are some topical stuff, there is some topical stuff in there. A lot of the stories are timeless. What makes good writing is making it timeless. Now, you can still do topical things while making it timeless, but you simply have to be talented. I mean, it's like to its most basic element, John, it's talent. But Noah Wiley, who is currently writing Legion, which Mako rightly corrected me. Well, I think Counterpart can kind of go into that category. Legion is the modern Prisoner. Legion is a fantastic show. That's not for everybody, but if you're a fan of The Prisoner, you most likely would like the show Legion. Check it out. Noah Hawley is a great example of a great writer who was very political. Sam Esmail, who is extremely political, still can put out something that's very entertaining and not preachy. Mr. Robot is a fantastic show. It's a brilliant show. So those are two gentlemen right there that I would recommend for now. Okay. Mr. Robot hasn't been out for a couple of years, and it's really been in the last couple of years where this stuff has hit television hard. I'm not saying it hasn't. Listen, that's what ruined the CW for me. I mean, that's not written well at all. Never has been, but it's just gotten, the CW has just gotten so bad. And it's so bad. And I'm afraid Netflix is going down that road too. All Out of Bubblegum, $5. I remember the sad puppies. Yes. It was so upsetting to me that a small group of people were being gatekeepers for something that did not need gatekeeping. Exactly. All Out of Bubblegum. And that has continued. And it went down to this, what was it? The Hugo Awards. It went down in 2015, I believe. You can look into it. It's SJW Marvel, it's Gamergate, it's everything that's going on right now. And it's a group of people, who just wanted to keep another group out because not even necessarily what they wrote about in their books, what they thought about in their private time. And that's discrimination. It's bigotry. In feudalism, everyone is a slave to the landowner. So this lady is an idiot. Exactly. And it is feudalistic. And this is what's going to hurt the Game of Thrones prequel, Mako, because they're going to when you hear the phrase, we're going to show the history of Game of Thrones, and it's not what you think it would be. That is, we're going to make it less white than the last show, which is fine because in Game of Thrones, there are all kinds of races. There's the Summer Isles, there's Dorne, and it's not American and African or anything like that. It's a fantasy world. I mean, like, listen, she called Daenerys white, which technically she is, but she's alien uber white because she is from Valeria. They have purple eyes. They didn't do it in the show, but they have purple eyes, for Christ's sake, and white hair. They're like the Nordic aliens. I think you have more subscribers now than the people watch STD Premiere. Mills. I can say one thing. God, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but cat's out of the bag already. One of my videos did get watched more than I don't know which one, than a Star Trek Discovery episode on an overnight. So there, we'll leave it at that. Now I have, it's one video. Okay. It's only one. I only got one that's like really, I mean, I have some hit 100,000 and that's freaking brilliant. But the Orville RT one hits 335 or something like that. That's the one. So honestly, here's what I think. I think it's getting, just based on what I've heard, I think it's as far as views, I think it's getting what an average mid-tier sci-fi show gets. So we're talking maybe 100,000, couple, kind of what Ash versus Evil Dead got. Couple 100,000, 300,000 views, which is fine if you're on a basic cable show and your budget for your show per episode is maybe a couple million, not 10. Not 10. Now, the first episode got viewed by the first episode of season 1 got 8 million on because they aired it on network. So that's the one show you can check the ratings, and it got 8 million, which was equal to the Orville premiere. So from there, if you extrapolate it out and just use basic logic, Orville, after it premiered, dipped to between 3 and 5 million average per episode on a network for free. So what do you think the percentage drop was for Star Trek Discovery, which is behind a paywall? I think it was significant. So we'll say 8 million people checked it out. And I'll I will say it's probably half million after that watched, decided to pay. There might have been some kind of free trial going on at the time that might have inched it to 1 million, but that's not, I mean, like, no, they needed like 5 million, 6 million. They need 10 million people watching the show. They need millions of subscribers, which the NFL will get them for CBS All Access. And that's probably the lifeblood right there, and Netflix playing for the show. But the NFL someday is going to get wise and just do their own streaming. They're probably working on it. I don't know or care, but you can't rely on that. So the streaming wars are going to be over before they start. And I think they might be, to be honest with you. I don't think D Plus stands a chance. I think that's why they bought Hulu, Disney. Ginger is not a protected class. Ginger side. People are committing ginger side. I think she needs more phallic things in the show. Oh, what's up, Justin Doyle? How's it going? Wonder Girl 60s. She literally attacked his children, his creations. Yes, she did. After like, he's probably sitting there going, this. PC a la US is very scary. Natasha, PC a la us is very scary, or US. Yes, it is. PC is very, very scary. It is very restrictive and cultish. And that is not a condemnation on people on the left or right. That is PC, which is a whole thing by itself. That's the way I see it anyway. Oh God, you're so right. Parody non richest. I'm sorry if I'm screwing that up. Parody, my bad. Nerdrotic channel for me, Michael Moorcock. Oh, thank you for bringing this up. This is good stuff. Is more talented than Martin for me, and they never created a dark fantasy series based on Elric. Elric is awesome. Moorcock is awesome. I love that stuff. If anybody knows, I'm sure you guys know the YouTuber Razor Fist, the Rageaholic. He has some brilliant videos on Elric that I highly recommend. That, again, I will link in the description, and I would love to talk to that dude anytime. I freaking love that channel. He did the best Black Sabbath history too. I love his little behind the musics are great. Half brown, half ginger, all going to hell. Brad Noble. Yeah, we're all going to hell. I'll see you there, Brad. You're buying. If I go there, when I go to hell, that's why I'll start drinking again. It's a Trap Productions. I'll be glad when the current times are over. Yes, unfortunately, it might be when the button gets pressed and Harvey comes and kills us all. All right, and we got a couple more super chats here. Oh, my good friend, the Hunky Chunky Monkey. How you doing? You doing all right today? The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Every day can be difficult for our friend here, and I need to remember that some of you out there are watching. Because because you're confined to a room, and I'm truly sorry. So I hope I help a little bit lighten your day. And I know the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey goes through some hard times sometimes. So I'm always thinking about you. Thank you so much for the £2. Looks like an F- for D+. Absolutely. Could not agree more. Thank you so much, my friend. TK, $5. The high cancel is going to break the wheel. Keep up the great streams. TK, thank you so much for the kind words, and I will do my best not to let you guys down and keep this going, and also talk about good stuff. I want to try to steer you because it does exist. It sucks that it's our top tier franchises that have been completely infiltrated by crazy people, and people who aren't fans of that franchise, or people who think they need refreshing changes, and or they just don't want the old fans because we're problematic, because we talk about things and not understanding fandom at all, and not understanding genre or sci-fi at a basic level. Sam Catalina. I've been to Catalina. It's a great island. Do you have, thank you for the $10. Do you have plans to go back and review the beginning episodes of the Orville season 1? Newbie here. I'm going to need a little more help hashing out Priya's disappearance. Yeah, I would, you know what? Yeah. So real quick on that. I think I mentioned that when I first saw the first episode, I wasn't a fan of Seth MacFarlane, so I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to cover this show. It's just going to be Star Trek with jokes, and I didn't get it. So I watched a couple more episodes and binged the rest of the season because I missed a lot. I'm like, God damn it, I got to be covering this show. It was a huge mistake. So I covered the last 2 episodes, but yeah, I'll go back and do the rest of season 1. Definitely, yes. Thank you for the $10 super chats. That's a good question, by the way. That's a really good question. I think, well, it depends on, I think they're going to bring her back. But why she disappeared? It's because of the timeline. They God, I'm remembering back now. There was the vortex in the timeline. If they closed it, then she never was there. It didn't kill her, but it recorrected the timeline. Am I wrong on that one? I can't remember it fully. Yeah. There we go. Sorry for the silence there. I have lost my window. There we go. Good question, Sam. And yeah, I will go over it. I'll do that. Although, God, I'm not supposed to promise anything, but I should. That'll be that's going to be my last commitment for a while, because I'm like way behind. I've got to catch up on Farscape. I've got to review some Vikings. I got to do Future Man 3. I've got to do Punisher season 2. And yeah, I got some stuff to catch up on. And I've got the RT video. The reason it's taken so long is I really tried to individually count every single review, and it was too much. So I did most. I did half. A little over half. So I'm going to go on averages from that on, because I'm just going to have to move on from that. Just lurking tax from RoloCat, £2. You do not have to pay a tax. By the way, super chats are not necessary. They are greatly appreciated. I will try to get as much to the chat as possible. Hit at Nerdrotic channel. If I don't catch it the first time, it's okay to repeat. And the mods can try to get my attention as well. So, and mods, thank you so much. Penn Farm Girl, Mako, the DJ D Show, Mary Ashmead, one of the hardest working people on YouTube, Johnny Papas and Kato Roan, Viking Bitch and Movie Finobi whenever they show up. Yeah, it's thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it. Stay strong, stop overextending. Yeah, I know. I've got a little extra time because Mrs. Nerdrotic is out of town, so at least I'll get my Patreon packages shipped off today. So, yes, I love Farscape. Cormoran, late fan to that. I didn't think I would like it when it came out, and then Viking Bitch insisted I watch it, and I did, and I freaking adore that show. It was just kind of like one of those head slapping moments, like where I'm just an idiot for missing it. So, have you seen the second greatest TV show of all time, 24? Mills. Yes, I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons and I loved it. And then I just stopped watching for some reason. Kind of like Supernatural. I watched the first 5 seasons of Supernatural and I liked it and I just stopped. But I was running a comic shop at the time and I didn't have a ton of time to watch TV. Because I mean, if we want to get in the weeds on that one, 2008 happened. The stock market crash, for lack of a better word, and I had to fire employees, take on a partner, work 2 jobs just to, and the comic store broke even for 2 years, so I had to take on a partner who helped ran the store, and then I had to go to LA and work, and that's when I worked at Technicolor and did some post-production stuff so I could pay bills at the house and the store, and when I could have just sold the store, but I couldn't do it at the time, and I ended up doing it later. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun times, man. Working 12, 11 hours a day down in LA and then coming home on the weekends. Really was, my kids loved it. Believe me, that's sarcasm. They hated it. And it took years off my life. Gary, you could count them with code. Justin Doyle, I need to figure that out. DM me on Twitter. I can be old man internet. Okay. I have some skill, but it's specialized. So if somebody could show me how to do that, that would be fantastic. My DMs are open for the time being on Twitter at Nerdrotics. Yeah, Stargate that's going to be when I'm done with everything. Babylon 5 and Stargate. But you were right, Destiny Captain. That's another one I probably should have been watching and didn't. Hey, Gary, should Star Wars and Star Trek have a crossover? Never, because the technology doesn't match. While Star Wars has the Force, Star Trek, it depends on what era of Star Trek, but if we're going to say like Next Generation Voyager, they would just beat the crap out of the Empire. The Empire's got the big weapons, but yeah, no. And it depends. If you had like the full force of the Federation with the Klingons and stuff like that, forget about it. Yeah. I go back and forth. I used to be like a Star Wars first guy. Like that was like, I was a Star Wars guy first, and then it slowly turned into Star Trek first between the two. I mean, I'm a bigger Doctor Who fan than either, but, I don't know if I'm a singular, I guess Doctor Who's like the one singular thing I'm really, really into, but I love all of it. I used to love Star Wars. I gave up on it. Talked about that in the High Council. Star Trek, I still love. I watched last night where No Man has Gone Before, after the High Council, and poor Gary. I love that episode though. I really do. And Spock's Leonard Nimoy's acting. He hadn't quite figured out Spock yet, so he's all smiling and smirky, just like Kurtzman wants him. Lots of makeup too. Oh, and there was there was a little bit of sexism in that too. When Gary calls the doctor a freezer, a freezer unit, and then she says, "Well, professional women do tend to overcompensate." I was like, "Oh, damn! It's the '60s." No Kato, no party. Yeah. I'm missing Kato right now, but he's probably asleep. The Orville was supposed to be destroyed. Prio went back in time. That's right. It was supposed to be destroyed, and she prevented it to sell it because she was a collector from the future. And then she takes the crew and places them in her timeline. When their ship wasn't destroyed, they had no reason to steal it. Yeah, but she was asking why Priya just disappeared, and I thought it was because they got rid of the timeline. But I'll go back and rewatch it. I've only seen it twice, so that was a year ago. There might be a plot hole in there, but the thing is, I mean, it could pull its parody card show once in a while and go, we're just a parody. But I think there's a point where the Orville can't do that anymore, and they need to. A great example is the Venture Brothers. You guys, gals, some of you have seen the Venture Brothers. Started out as a Johnny Quest parody. It is most definitely its own thing now, and turned into its own world. And it's one of the best written shows ever. ever, and it's funny as hell. I wish Sean Pertwee had been in the Doctor Who 50th special. Yeah, Jeffrey Grimm. I like the 50th anniversary special a lot, but there was a lot of stuff they could have done. The Five-ish Doctors made up for it a little bit because I love that. I actually watched that as much as I watched the 50th anniversary special. That was a lot of fun. It's official. You have no life. I strangely do, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Are you disappointed Isaac has not brought with him transporter technology from the season finale? Yeah, and I'm disappointed Isaac hasn't really been in it much. I like Isaac a lot, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm wondering why I was kind of thinking they would have transporter technology. That's a good point. Who is my favorite Orville crew member? Gordon, Brian Singer, Gordon, by far. He's a ginger. And no, he's just funny. I love Gordon. Brian Singer is here. Brian, you're in a little bit of trouble. More accusations. By the way, how is the Lolita Express? Is it a nice flight out there? The hunky chunky funky monkey. You had snow yesterday. I don't get snow. I don't get snow here. It's actually sunny. It is 70 degrees right now. I mean, we have to have some, there's some good aspects of being in California and paying as much as we do. And it's pretty decent weather. And the ground hasn't shook today. So Peggy Carter was a good show. Agent Carter was a very good show. 7 more to 34,000. All right. That's brilliant. I love it. I got the little high council bump. Yeah. Bump on hump day. DM me, DJ D Show. He says he's got some Orville information. EJAR, Girl Hitler. God damn. Yes. And Stab Girl. Stab Girl. Poor Stab Girl. She died in space. We needed more of Stab Girl. Oh my God. I just laugh my ass off when I think of that show. It is so damn funny. Big Finish has hinted that the Doctor Who curse of the fatal death being canon in the new Diary of River Song. I kind of thought Big Finish was canon. It is in it's in head canon. So it's 45 degrees in Houston. Brr. That's cold. But some of you guys are probably laughing at me for that. Okay, I got to get to a couple more super chats there, and then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I got to move my window here. This is getting to be a pain in the butt. The Big Red Bear, $5 Canadian. Star Trek versus Star Wars. The Romulans would just beam the Empire's crew into space. It'd be the lulz. Lock onto the bridge crew and transport 40 meters up. The end. Thank you for the $5 Canadian. Yes. But the Romulans, are there Romulans left? I guess there were it was an empire, so I'm sure there was, but Romulus is gone. God, that's terrible. Just saying it out loud is awful. How mad does that make you? Holy shit, that room is awesome, says Iro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I worked very hard on it. Is my lava lamp on? A few of you expressed disappointment that I am in San Francisco and I don't have a lava lamp. Well, lava lamp. Look at that. Lava lamp. And I put up some lights. Yes, I try to decorate because this is the most production value you're going to get. I am going to be switching out some figures, though. As you can see right here, I put up more Star Trek figures. Mrs. Nerdrotic has donated her Next Generation figure collection to me. Yes, my wife has Star Trek figures. That's why she's my wife. She's a keeper. Total keeper. Rebecca Gold, do you know of the BBC version of War of the Worlds? It's the only version that's true to the novel. Isn't it something they're coming out with, or is it out? I was aware of it. I didn't know it was out. I will watch it. Or is it like audio? I'm not sure. I will listen to it. I heard something about it, but I didn't think it was out yet. But yes, I have heard of it. The Doctor Who TV series should be given to the writers of Big Finish. Douglas Nelson, yes. The Big Finish should take control of Doctor Who, in my opinion. More Canadian super chats. Whoop! Yeah, we love Canada. That's where a lot of the best sci-fi is made these days. I mean, The Expanse, made in Canada. Battlestar Galactica, made in Canada. There you go. William Shatner, made in Canada. Rush, Bob and Doug McKenzie. What are my thoughts on Project Blue Book? Each episode gets a little better, but it's still not grabbing me. I really want to like this show, but Fickle, I'm right there with you, and that's why we didn't. Well, okay, we didn't cover it the second episode because I straight up forgot it was on. And then last night I was going to cover it, and then I got invited on the House High Council. I watched the episodes. Yeah, they're it's kind of losing me because it's trying to ramp up some drama that's unnecessary. If you just follow the cases, they're creepy enough. If you want to add some UFO stuff, that's fine. But they have this Russian spy side story that really isn't grabbing me, and it kind of takes me out of the episode. And they're making Alan J. Hynek should be like the Doctor. He should be thinking his way through things, not climbing trees and chasing men in black. And yeah, so they're going full X-Files. They've got like the generals sitting around a round table smoking cigarettes and being vague about stuff, which is fine. But yeah, it's just not grabbing me, unfortunately. And I'm right there with you, Fickle. I want to love this show. Alan J. Hynek is one of my heroes. So, but yeah, I wonder how he would feel about how they're treating his wife. Only 2 more to go to 34,000. Only 2 more to go. But can I plug the Exozone real quick? I'll say the Exozone, folks, is my good friend, Dictor Van Doomcock, who has a channel on YouTube. One of the best channels out there, woefully unsubbed, to the point where listen, I don't want to blame YouTube on this one, not openly, but he should have more subs. Please check him out. He's my co-host on the Exozone, where we once a week or every other week we talk about the strange, high strangeness, UFOs, Bigfoot, weird stuff like that, and we just talk about it. We don't present anything as facts. So some people are not into that, and I totally get it. That's why it's not a weekly thing. But if you all remember Art Bell, Coast to Coast, it's kind of a show like that. And we'll be doing another one, I believe, this weekend. We have to, I have to talk schedule with Doomcock, and hopefully Jeff from World Class Bullshitters can join us. That would be fantastic. And we can bring other people on eventually, and I think it'll be fun. Oh, we did it. Hey, right on. Thanks, everybody. Holy crap. I got to check that real quick. We hit 34,000. Sorry if I yelled in the mic. My bad. That makes people go away. But let's yeah, we did it. Oh, wait, we got to see this. I am hearing from an insider on Star Trek Discovery. Okay. Okay, folks. File this under rumor. Hot news. Have your sirens up. File this under rumor. This is from our my Star Trek source. Very good person. Stargate series going to be announced at Comic-Con. New Stargate series. How do you feel about that, Stargate fans? Do you want a new Stargate series made in the current environment? What kind of a series would it be? Would it be true to it, or will we get more of the same? Are we going to have the Star Trek Discovery of Stargate? Yes. And he sent me the trailer for the that's nice. That's nice. So yeah, if they don't screw it up, that'd be great. How did the Stargate fans? I can't really comment on it. How did the Stargate? So if somebody said, "Hey, we're gonna remake Farscape," but it's not, it's not the guys who created Farscape, I wouldn't want it. Rockney O'Bannon, and Henson's kid would have to be involved in Farscape. So it would probably be a very similar circumstance. Whoever the creator of Stargate is, like one of them has to be involved. But it could be Stargate SJW. Absolutely. You don't want that. You don't want that. Hey, you got a big star out there from that show too. Chris Persia, thank you for the Canadian $2. Congrats on 34,000. Keep up the good work. I will do my very best. You guys are part of the show. You guys make it. You're funny, you're brilliant, you have great ideas. I mean, some of the pitches I've heard in this chat are better than anything I've heard out of Hollywood. That's why there needs to be a new rise of independent creatives. I mean, kind of like the 90s when we had a bunch of little indie movies do well. We need something like that, but something a little more raw, something that without that Hollywood gatekeeper and BBC gatekeeper, something like people do, like Rebecca Gold, is doing a web series on YouTube. We need more of that. Star Wars Theory doing that Vader thing. That was awesome. That was so good. Oh man. I'm so happy he got that thing worked out, by the way. Very happy. And that feels like a kind of a win. But I don't think it was. I think that was more, what did I hear? A theory that Warner Chappell made the claim, and that's Warner Brothers, and maybe they were sticking it to Disney, and I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, like, hey, Netflix canceled the Marvel shows when they canceled Iron Fist when Daredevil premiered. And yeah, that's taking a shot. That's a very public shot. Oh my God. Okay. Punisher, folks, Punisher. What is Punisher's? I got a new title for the Punisher: Driving Miss Millennial. That's what the damn Punisher is. Guest starring the Punisher. Now I'm only 6 episodes in, but like, what the hell? Nothing's happening. I could care effing less about Madani and her whatever. That whole scene where she's drinking out of the flask and she's supposed to like look like kind of a lush. Madani's the cop that got shot in the head at the end of season 1, and it looks like a supermodel pretending to be a lush. I mean, like, if she's really been drinking and living a miserable life for the last few months, she would have, come on, the freshman 15 on there a little extra poundage, and her hair was beautiful, and she just got back from the salon, and she's like pulling out her flask. Yeah, it was just dumb. Thank you again, Chris. Brent Numa. Brent Numa. Who the hell's Brent Numa? Brent Newman. £2. Congrats on 34,000. Has this not happened before? It might have. Did you see a black cat, Brent? Thank you for the $2 or £2, I should say. £2. Okay, we're gonna get back to the window here. Yeah, so that's a preview to my Punisher review. It's going to be a bigger video than just a Punisher review. It's going to be kind of a condemnation of like Marvel and how they couldn't work it out, like the battle between the TV and the movie divisions, and how the fans lost on this one, and how they blew a huge opportunity. And they think they could just dial everything back and put it back on D plus and it'll be okay. Well, you already put a bunch of stuff on Netflix, and you can't just say that doesn't exist. Here's our stuff, and we're going to be okay. I mean, we're as time goes on, those fans are going to show up less and less just because they get older, they get disinterested. There's too much. For lots of it's behind a paywall, and I think the streaming wars, these companies are greatly overestimating how many people are going to come and pay that, whatever that is. If Netflix was smart, I guess they always have to raise their prices, but during the streaming wars for a little while, I would make it a little cheaper. Stargate deserves to be brought back where it left off, not rebooted, and certainly not Stargate SJW. Please God, no. Says David Loans, $5. Yes. Yeah, why not? I mean, the cast is mostly still around. You don't have to bring everybody back, and just pick up where you left off, having whatever time it's, however long it's been. How long has it been? To be honest with you, I don't know. That sounds great to me. And that way I can get caught up on the original series, and then by the time it's on, then I'll know what's going on and we can cover it. In current year, It's a Trap Productions in current year. No, I do not want a Stargate series. And that's kind of how I felt about Torchwood. I was all, yay, Torchwood. Wait a minute. No. Universe was fine, says Ken Lynch. The horror. Dr. Coffin Nails. $5 super chat. Righteous Kill 45. I'd be okay with the new Stargate series if the Expanse creators made it. Ooh. I would watch it. I would definitely watch it. So I should ask him, hang on real quick, which Comic-Con? There's so many now. If you're watching, I'm going to type that to you. Which Comic-Con? Is it San Diego? Nerdrotic will be at, well, that's me. We'll be at Comic-Con this year, San Diego Comic-Con. So if any of you are going or in Southern California, we will do a meetup. We did one last year. Met Johnny Pappas and Crazy Carlos at Lestat's coffee shop and had a good old time. We did a live stream too, but I didn't leave it on the channel. It's on nerdrotic.com. Hail, Bryce 11544. How are you? Cameron St. Bernard. Would you like Brian Deckard as Doctor Who? Ooh. I don't know that name off the top of my head. Sorry. I'll probably recognize it once I see it, but let's take a look. Brian Deckard. Brian, what's he's a Twitch streamer, an American actor and a Twitch streamer. Is best known for his role as Connor, an android police investigator in the PS4 exclusive game, Detroit Become Human. He also played Eli Chandler on ABC's Family's Jane by Design and starred in the 2014 Sony Pictures feature film, The Remaining of Alexa Vega. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with this person playing the Doctor at all. He's got that foppish hair that kind of works. I don't know why that's a thing for me, but it is. I was going to read this article to you guys too, just because I haven't triggered you enough today. That'll be later though. That'll be a little later. I actually like you guys, and I do not enjoy triggering you at all. Sir Patrick Stewart for the Doctor. Yes, a long time ago, he would have been fantastic, but that's too many Professor X, the Doctor, and a captain on Star Trek. I don't know. Aquaman used to be on Stargate. Yes, Jason Momoa used to be on Stargate, and now he's a big star because soccer moms took their kids to Aquaman. Because Mrs. Nerdrotic says, I actually asked her, I'm like, would a female doctor make you watch Doctor Who? She's all, no, I never liked the show. It's period. It doesn't matter who the hell's in it. She's all, maybe if somebody hot was in it, I'd watch it. So if they got Tom Hardy as the Doctor, that would probably bring in more women than a female doctor. That would bring in more women than a female doctor. I think David Tennant and to some extent Matt Smith being gone is probably why they lost. Because there's always been a female audience with Doctor Who, and there's always been one for Star Trek, despite being called refrigerator units and where no man has gone before. Lighten up, Francis. Do you think the show Steven Universe is overrated? Cringy propaganda. Steven Universe is, I haven't watched it. I have heard it was very popular when I was in the comic store my last year. They were talking about that and Adventure Time, maybe. Yeah, I'm just not into that stuff. That's not stuff I'm into. Yeah, so I can't comment on it. Sorry, Silhouetted Animator. Bryce 11544. Doctor Who reboot should have been Missy as Doctor's daughter looking for the Doctor. That would have been cool. Michelle Gomez was great as Missy. Peter Capaldi was great as the Doctor. A missed opportunity there with Peter Capaldi, unfortunately. Rich Silverwood, what's up? 10 pounds. Congrats on 34,000, mate. You're getting so popular that you even appeared in a dream. Oh, easy, Tiger. What were we doing? We were driving around London defacing Doctor Who billboard posters. Yes. I would actually do that. Kind of like a nerdy Project Mayhem, if only. Well, I have a past of doing stuff like that. Now, this isn't defacing, but one of my little, we'll call it hooligan sprees in Southern California in 1989 made the news when a friend of mine and I went up and down San Diego County. So we went from San Diego County is a big place. It goes from practically LA to the border of Mexico. And we went from Oceanside down to National City, which is a long ways. And we stole every Batman poster we could. So we went to every theater, and back then it was just one little lock on the outside posters. There was about 15 theaters at the time, which was a lot for the time. There's 15, something like that. So yeah, we ended up getting like 15 posters. That was a long way to drive. I mean, like round trip, it was like 100 miles. And we got 15 posters and we plastered them all around our apartment, our shoddy stoner apartment, which had beanbags and futons and bongs everywhere and TV on a milk crate and Batman posters. And it made the news. So I could do something like that for sure. Statute of limitations on that too. So yeah. It's been a long time. I know for a fact that someone from the Doc Poo production has been watching you. Whoa, watching your show. Your show is more powerful than you think and very threatening to the status quo. That's weird to hear. Thank you, Rebecca, for letting me know that. That's not something I would ever think. I think I can speak for some YouTubers that when we do this, it's still me talking to you guys in a room. Or when I'm recording something, talking to myself and trying to shut my dogs up in the background. And that makes things real. That makes things very real. Wow. Thanks, Rebecca, I think. That's why I have a lot of respect for Anas Abdeen. He's suing CBS and everybody's like behind him. And it's a small creator defending himself, which is admirable to see. It's also incredibly ballsy because let's be real, folks. Say, you own a house or or you own a car or something, and CBS just threatens to take every stitch of clothing you own and you still fight them. That's ballsy because it could be just on a human level a very scary thing to take on this big monolith company that's got an army of lawyers who do not give one freaking crap about you at all. And if they ruin your life, they will dust off their hands, move on, and sleep like a baby when they're done. So yeah, and when you hear stuff like that, it makes it real. I don't think I've done anything that can get me sued, but I'll try not to. But thank you, Rebecca. If you want a female Time Lord, here's the pitch. The Sage. She's actively seeks out planting seeds of wisdom throughout time and space. So it can be as socially progressive as you like, says Dr. Meatball. There is a way. There's many ways to make Star Trek and Doctor Who as progressive as people like without being offensive, without offensive to the other side or preachy. Not even offensive. That's not the word. Preachy and cringy. There's a way. I mean, Star Trek arguably is kind of, fantasy. It's an ideal fantasy utopia that I don't think anybody's against. You can have your food in a replicator and everybody's kind of, at least everybody on the ships are for, science and scientific research and the betterment of humanity and that's why we like Star Trek. It's a fantasy world. It is one we are, maybe it's an ideal we live for someday, hundreds of years in the future, not even close to it right now. So that's why we like it. So when you take that away, it pisses people off. But as far as politics, there's always been political messages in Star Trek, but they've always been well represented, in my opinion. There's nothing really in Star Trek that listen, my politics, which I don't speak about, have not changed in the last 2 years. So stuff I was totally okay with before, all of a sudden I'm not okay with. It's not because my politics have changed. They actually haven't at all. It's the show changed. And I'm just simply pointing that out. There are limits. That's all we're saying. And yeah, I hear the critics and they listen. And that's why I don't want politics, because and when they're forced into the show, then we're forced to talk about them. And I really don't want. I want to talk about plot elements of the show. That's it. That's all. On Trek Movie, in the comments, they're laughing at channels like Midnight's Edge and Doomcock that said Netflix wouldn't pay for short treks. From what I understand, they never said that. Netflix didn't pay for the short treks. They were given. That's why they weren't broadcast when they were aired here. So they were gifted at the end. So I don't know why people are laughing at them, because the short trek showed up after they aired much later. The short treks were made to get funding for the All Access, to pay for some of the show going over budget for all the reshoots, because they had to fire their show creators. I don't think that's, and again, I'm not reporting that as fact. I think it's pretty logical to think that. You fired showrunners, you bring in new people, they're going to write different stories. It's going to require reshoots, which requires more money. You need more money. Hey, let's shoot some short treks on the side while we're shooting this with individual people, and we'll get our new writer's room that's working on the Picard series to, crap out of some stories, which is exactly what it looked like. So if somebody's denying that, show me where Netflix paid for the short treks. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, if people want to laugh in the Trek movie comments, I doubt Doomcock and Midnight's Edge could give two shits, to be honest with you. People are laughing at me. That's fine. Yeah, short treks didn't show up in until season 2 started. But hey, thanks for let me know that, though, because I'm sure they want to know if they're being talked about. But yeah, I've never been on the Trek movie comments. Maybe I'll have to go check that out. I'll have to go check it out. But that's not a condemnation of you. I was talking to the people who are in the comments. So just to be clear on that one, I wasn't chewing you out for I wasn't killing the messenger on that one. So sorry if it sounded like I was. Short treks didn't show up until season 2 started on Netflix Europe. Yep. And it's in the section where you have trailers and stuff. So I think they were gifted to them at the end because they couldn't get the, it was reported by Doomcock and Midnight's Edge, who stated it was a. I know Doomcock stated it as rumor. He said nothing is a fact. He's all, I'm just hearing this rumor, and here's what it is. He's the first person I heard it from, and he did not state it as a fact. So I know that for a fact. But as things have played out, I think he's right. Florida man arrested in Arizona accused of stealing at least 100,000 worth of comics. Stopped by Comic Stop owner. Really? I did not see that article, Bird of Prey. A noodle-armed comic shop owner stopped somebody. Great. Who had $100,000 worth of comics in their store? That's insane. Did he rob CGC, which is the grading company? Now, if you rob them, they got some books. Here, I'll look that up real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. By the way, okay. So Stargate's going to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con, folks. San Diego. Oh, there you go. Okay. And my phone's dying. My eyes are bad. So let's go real quick. Comic shop owner. I know this is really exciting. I can't find it. Shoot it to me on a DM if you can, Bird of Prey on Twitter. What's up, Bird of Prey, by the way? That's an anti-trekker guy. Random nerd dude. Hey, Gary, what country did Doomcock promise to give you when he takes over the world? Oh, we haven't really discussed that. I was kind of thinking I could take over the Republic of California, maybe. And then what I would do is end all taxes immediately and make California Girls our national anthem. Or that or Walk, Don't Run. I'm going to have to think about that. And no, I take that back. A Ramones song. And yeah, I don't know. We'd go from there. The country of Hollywood. That's what I want. The country of Hollywood. Or I'd be like Lex Luthor, Australia. No. I want an Austin Powers scene for children in need for Doctor looking for a Sonic, and she goes, I lost my. Then people saying things like balls, nuts, and wieners. That'd be kind of funny. That would be kind of funny. That would lighten a lot of stuff up. Jody did herself no favors by bringing up if she just never, yes, she's the first female doctor and left it at that. Yes, I'm the first female doctor, and really left out the whole, it's just not for boys anymore. And it's not just men. She didn't need to say that stuff. She could have just been the first female doctor. And then if there was good writing, could have been a good one without saying and taking the high road on that stuff. And that's how you win fans. But she decided, you know what? And it's just a mistake of youth. She probably felt like she was saying the right thing to the people in front of her. I don't know if she necessarily even believes that, but it did her no favors at all. The only way Jody's Doctor could lose more viewers is if they put the BBC put it on the BBC Parliament channel live of the House of Commons. Is Natasha leaving? Bye, Natasha. Have a good one, Natasha. Thank you. Trailers and other material, not as a designation. Gotcha. And now that's talking about the shorts. They didn't like leave it its own thing. Jonathan Frakes is directing. Is it tomorrow's Discovery episode? Unless you're in Thursday already, which you might be. So it could be good. The one he directed of season 1 is the one that felt the most like a Star Trek. But remember, Jonathan Frakes had to campaign to direct another episode. And he's doing another Orville episode as well. Good for him. Get that work. They did, Dorado, did they try to get Netflix to buy the shorts for a lot of cash? And despite lowering the price several times, Netflix said no thanks. Yes, that's exactly what happened, Dorado 25. And that is exactly what Doomcock reported. I'll report a couple things, but I am not a reporter. I'm not gonna, no, I'll pass on information I've learned from another outlet or something like that. But I mean, I've got a couple insiders, but that's not, no. I'd rather stay in free of that stuff. Having to check sources and all that stuff, that sounds like a lot of work. I'd rather just edit a video and tell you what I think. Let's go here. Doomcock is how I found your channel. Oh, awesome. And that's MLP Death Dealer 32. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Doomcock, and I definitely check him out. Jonathan Frakes isn't a good director, says Angel Feliciano. He really isn't. I remember when he did First Contact, his name was all hot, and then nothing happened after that. Only watched the first short Trek, and after that, I had no interest in seeing the other ones, and I am a huge Trek fan. The only good short Trek is Axanar. Indeed. Support our friends at Axanar. They have a channel. Prelude to Axanar is out there. It's a, what the hell was that? Oh, something hit the roof. So yeah, Prelude to Axanar, Alec Peters, and it is wonderful. It is truly wonderful. Two Cakes Frakes. Yeah, Two Cakes Frakes. Florida man is up to his old tricks again, says Ulrich Tech. Yeah, that Florida man. Television as a medium is flawed by being advertising reliant. People going rogue and jumping ship to streaming services has killed show budgets, which makes good stories few and far between, says Dr. Meatball. Yep. There's also a kind of a diluted talent pool, and there's just so much out there. There's just too much right now. I went over it on my Patreon live stream yesterday. We covered over the span of I started doing this channel seriously about 1.5 years ago. So, and I've only been doing it full time since October. And mainly we cover TV. We've covered like 30 separate series. Not all of them are going anymore. And out of the 30, I mean, I'd say 20 were good. We're really, really good. But again, they're not all going. Like, where the hell's Taboo? Remember Taboo? Everybody remember Taboo? Tom Hardy's series, fucking great, by the Peaky Blinders guy, with Jonathan Pryce. It was like just absolutely brilliant from beginning to end. Came out 2 years ago, and haven't heard a peep. I heard there's a season 2, but maybe Venom delayed that. I don't know. Flag on the play. Restriction often cause the rights to do a better job unless they really suck. It depends. I think competition breeds innovation, and I think the streaming wars are going to give us better shows, but it's going to be hard to find them within all the muck. Dark Matter was brilliant until it was canceled. Yeah, man, I've heard a lot of people just pissed that show got canceled. And guess what? Winona Earp still goes on Sci-Fi, and the ratings were actually worse than Dark Matters, and it's still there. And you can fill in why. Taboo was not canceled unless they canceled it recently. I will show you. Unless they change, unless that's recent, because I haven't checked the news in the last, say, month. But let's go. Taboo was, but unless they just canceled the season, that would suck. Here we go. Let me find it. Yeah, it's still going. So the latest news here, this is like This is from a week ago, but this is actually an old article that's from, oh my God. I am apologize in advance for sharing something from colonoscopy eiter. Hang on just a second. Oh, bloody hell. Hang on. Oh, forget it. So yeah, Collider's reporting their season 2. It's going to start shooting later this year. Is Wyatt Earp still going on, or did they cancel Wyatt Earp? Winona Earp. Sorry, Winona Earp. Did I say Wyatt Earp? Winona Earp. My bad. Nerdrotic for governor. Governor. I would be a terrible politician. I'd be the worst. I'm really not big on rules. It appears most decent shows are canceled before they have time to shine. Except STD, which just sucks. Says Grand Muff Tarkin. What's up, Grand Muff Tarkin? Long time no see. Agreed. Yeah. I really want to see Taboo season 2. I thought it was great. I thought Taboo season 1 was brilliant. Do Star Trek and Doctor Who really work as a crossover? Actually, yes. I mean, if Q can work, Doctor Who can work. So there was a decent crossover comic book. And that I liked very much. And it was Matt Smith's The 11th Doctor and the crew of The Next Generation. And it's the Cybermen and the Borg. And it's very good. It's very good. Check it out. I mean, would it work visually on a TV show? That's a good question. I don't know about that. They keep trying to rewrite history, and it's bloody annoying. Yes, the Empire did some bad things, but it was not an evil institution like they believe it was. Oh, bloody hell. Wow, Gary, you've been listening to us Brits too much. Maybe I have been. Maybe I'm getting a little influenced. There. I gotta pop over to this dumb window again. Oh, they're talking to Aiden. No, got Collider. Just nah. Oh boy, we've got a lot of super chats to catch up on. So you know what? I'm gonna share. Can I share the screen? Jesus, come on. There we go. Now that's fixed. It took that whole time to fix me. Give me just a second. We're going to share some of these super chats, and then I'm going to get back to you in the chat because we've got so many. Okay. Where do we start? Mary Ashmead, $2, which you never have to do, Mary. I mean, I owe you money for all the wrenching you do. You rock, Gary. 34,000. Mary, you rock. Okay. I could not do this without you. You're a great friend, great wrench. And I know it's hard for you to do stuff some days, and you're always here. So I appreciate you. I can't thank you enough, Mary. You're outstanding. Thank you so much. Righteous Kill 45. And I've already read that one. Stephen Wheeler, $5. Stargate Universe should come back and start out with everyone checking their privilege. Well, duh. Yes, as a matter of fact, I should have checked my privilege before I started the live stream, Stephen. I'm going to be in trouble with the PC police. Stephen Wheeler, $5 more. Stargate Universe should come back and start out with everyone checking their privilege. Yes. Oh, you didn't have to pay twice for that. I should refund you. I wish I knew how. Stephen Wheeler, are these things showing up? They are. $2. They weren't showing up in my feed, but sometimes they don't because I'm a little behind. But I'm sorry, but Stephen Wheeler, if you got another question, I will answer it. And I will thank you again. Peter Davison and his lovely mother, Australian $5. And I've already do they cross over, please? God, man, I'm losing it, man. Maybe I'm hungry. Brent Newman, £5. Gary, please, you give a shout out for 2 great channels to support Nerdrotic, Six Scale Combat and Grand Muff Tarkin. Support these channels. Yes, I will absolutely support both of them because they are in our chat quite a bit, and they're in other chats who are. I am just like you guys. I'm a fan of YouTube, so I will often show up in chats of other YouTubers, and I'm always lurking in other channels. Like I was watching DJD this morning. So yes, go check out Six Scale Combat, which I guess still get back to you. I need that Lilu custom like yesterday. I've got the fundage for it too. So DM me again on Twitter. I do not have the same name on Twitter. Just DM me again. And Graham Muff Tarkin, who is a good friend and supporter. And yeah, check him out. Blue Cat 42, $2. RuPaul for the 14th Doctor. Checks all boxes. It really does. It really does. And she'd probably be better than Jody for sure. Stephen Wheeler, $5. I paid twice because it was my first time and didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing first time I did it too, Stephen. And it's all good and it's really appreciated. But yeah, if you got a question, you could just hit @Nerdrotic and I'll answer it back. I will answer it back. Oh, yeah. You know what? I got to wrap things up, man. I'm getting hungry. It's getting late and I don't know how my camera got turned all the way over there. But our next live stream will be Friday, 7 p.m. with Susan. As far as tonight's concerned, Deadly Class. I believe the second episode of Deadly Class. So I will be covering that show tonight. So I'll be on later tonight. And the next RT video will be out tomorrow. And that's when the name change happens. All right. So we will do that. I will run my Patreon video and talk to you guys a little bit more while we are exiting the building. Hope I covered everything in my title. If not, I got to change the title. Oh, we got another super chat from Jane of Fark 33. The Expanse isn't safe, is it? Or do we risk losing it? Really appreciate your work and love your room. Oh, thank you. The Expanse is safe for now. My only concern is that they drop everything at once and it's just out of the public eye in a couple weeks when you're giving up 13 weeks of free promotion from YouTubers. I will cover every episode. I will do a live stream of every episode and a video if they release it weekly. If they don't release it weekly, I can't cover every episode. It just doesn't work. It's like that's why we don't do that with the Netflix series. I can get 1 or 2 podcasts out of it at the most. They really need us to do that. And not just me, like, freaking geeking with James Hancock and Doomcock and Anti-Trekker. These are all people who are going to cover the Expanse weekly. So I am like, please don't drop it all at once. I just don't think it's a good idea. I doubt they give a wet slap what I think, but I've been doing this a while now, and it actually, I could judge interest in a TV show based on YouTube analytics. It's pretty easy. And by the way, Star Trek Discovery is down. Interest is down. The only interest in it is in people not liking it. But and thank you to all the patrons. You're going to see our patrons here. We have a bunch of new ones, and I do 2 additional nooners on Patreon for as little as $1. So Tuesday and Thursday. We also do a hangout on Saturdays. But also just thank you for subscribing. You don't have to do the Patreon thing. And I know some people aren't down with Patreon for what they did to Sargon and stuff. And I totally don't blame you at all. At all. Actually, we lost a couple people. No hard feelings. I mean, I understand. It's just the only place that I can go right now. If things get worse, I'll let you know. I do have a website, nerdrotic.com. That's where the live stream schedule is, and that's where we put all of the audio versions. We're on iTunes. We're on Player FM. There's a lot of iTunes mirrors out there that you can find us on. If you're still into that stuff. Yeah, we started out as a podcast. So there you go. Everybody, as soon as I get a job, I'll do Patreon. It's Alex Brown. It's okay. It's not required, but thank you. Odie Rex commented that they released the Grand Tour weekly so they could do the Expanse as well. Thank you for pointing that out. That is good news. That is good news. That makes me happy. And by the way, would you guys want me to cover the Grand Tour? Because I love Top Gear. Would you guys watch something like that? Because I will do it. You know what? Tell you what, I'll try it. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I loved hate watching reviews of STD from season 1 for season 2. I don't even care about that. And Apple Crow, tell you what, I will stick to this promise. If they're talking about Star Trek Discovery season 3, I don't think it's a done deal, but I'm sure they're planning for it. Every show does. If they do a season 3, peace out. I'm done. I can't do that for 3 seasons. And the same goes with Jody. If it goes past season 12, late. And I'm not buying any of this stuff. I mean, I have to buy the subscriptions, but I'm not buying anything Star Trek related directly from any of the companies that get their money. I'm buying everything on eBay. Yes, of course. I got this McFarlane Picard. That was pretty cool. I don't know about the face sculpt, but it's like, really, this is a nice figure. It comes with a stand. Yeah, it's really cool. I had to buy that. Oh, and before I go, I got my first Expanse thing. It's tiny, but this comes with Loot Crate. It comes with a diorama that's really crappily made and breaks easily, but I'm going to hang this from my ceiling. I got my Rosie. Looks pretty good. So there you go. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Don't believe the bull, you know what, that comes from the media. That's why you can rely on us to at least try to read between the lines for you. Plus, you guys are perfectly capable of doing it yourselves. But if you want to come in here and talk about it, this is a place you can talk about it. And that's what we're here for. We're trying to bring sanity back in the world. I'm not trying to really fight anything. I'm trying to just bring some, I don't want to use the word normal, sanity, common sense, something where we can all go to the same playground and enjoy, going into a comic store and just enjoying the entertainment and not being divided and freaking fighting all the time. But unfortunately, it takes a fight for us to get back to that. So there you go. Please subscribe to Doomcock, World Class Bullshitters, Anna, that Star Wars girl, EVS, Geeks and Gamers, if you haven't already, DJD Show. I'm trying to think of Midnight's Edge, Anti-Trekker, Robot Rob Shlomo, Lore Reloaded. I'm trying to think of some other channels. I can't. If I forgot somebody, I'm sorry. Just Plain Joe. God, what is your channel? It's Doctor Who Reviews, right? Doctor Who Reviews. It's Just Plain Joe on Twitter. He's got a brand new channel. Honestly, I'd say at least 4 of the Doctor Who videos I've done are done based on him passing some stuff off to me. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's good to have you back, Graham of Tarkin, and please check out his channel as well. It's great to have you back. So everybody have a great day. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.